the news tonight, over 1,700 persons employed 4 years ago into Cross River State Civil Service demand payment of salaries. As price of yam keeps increasing, consumers in Ugoja are crying out for government intervention on transport fare in the rural areas to check the hike in prices of commodities. Plus, World's Environmental Solution moves to consolidate its empowerment program, undertake groundbreaking of project in Akansoko, Akpabio local government area. Details in just a moment. Good evening and welcome to Nta Calabar News at 7. I am Ode Alenyo and now the news in detail. Over 1,700 persons employed 4 years ago into the Cross River State Civil Service and without being payrolled have staged a protest over what they describe as injustice, demanding for payment of their salaries. Morelio Ajom reports that the head of service, Timothy Akwaji, who addressed the protesting civil servants, assured them that government is working modalities to ensure that their issues are given due attention. The report.
Solidarity forever. We will always fight for our rights.
Led by the coordinator, Comrade David Inyanya, the group who calls themselves non-payroll civil servants in Cross River State recounted how the state government signed a memorandum of understanding with Labour to commence payment of the salaries at the beginning of this year, but till date, government has failed to fulfill its part of the bargain.
The injustice the government have meted on us, 4.5 years still counting, without a pay. Sometime last year, they had a MOU with the Labour. Item number 14 says on that MOU that by effect January 2022 we will be paid. But this is March. Instead of looking on how to pay us, they are now asking people to submit application in the office of the Special Advisor Job Placement. That is more aggravacious. We have mothers here, we have fathers here. We were duly employed. All of us have our appointment letters here with us. We go to work every day. So it is very disheartening that the government of the day, which is going to end very soon, leave us without a pay. We lost 4 of our colleagues. The last one, Minister of Justice, Comrade Thomas, is in the mortuary. He died last week. He has 3 children, no source of income to feed.
They lamented that they have been discharging their duties in the various agencies deployed to, and most of them have lost their lives as a result of the injustice. The state chairman of Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Ben Ukpepi, gives an insight on the situation.
Our 1,700 staff, which were employed, have not been on the payroll for over 4 years now. That matter has been with Labour over time. You are aware that in October last year we went on strike. That issue was part of it. The government signed an MOU to implement in January. Those persons were coming back to payroll in January. As a result of a follow-up, we met the head of service, and the head of service actually made a follow-up and then make executive summary to His Excellency for assent before implementation. That is where we have been waiting all this while.
However, the Cross River State Head of Service, Timothy Akwaji, assures the group of government's readiness to address the situation with immediate effect.
The staff you have seen there were the ones who were recruited and have not been payrolled. You could recall that His Excellency did mention that he did not authorize the recruitment. And then when he met with them at the stadium, he assured them that he was going to, ratify that letters that they are carrying. So His Excellency has said I should collate all the appointment letters that they have and then pass them on to him.
The group is hoping that the assurance from the head of service will not become an empty promise like the case has always been. In Calabar, Morelio Ajom, NTA News.
The University of Uyo branch of the Joint Action Committee of Non-Academic Staff Union, NASU, and Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, has joined in the 2 weeks nationwide warning strike action to press home their demands on the federal government. Chairperson of the group, Anete Atai, is appealing to the federal government to look into their demands contained in a letter submitted to the Minister of Labour and Employment on the 6th of March 2022 to enable them return to work. John Paul Alumon reports.
The Joint Action Committee of NASO and SANO University of Uyo branch disclosed that the 2-week warning strike, which commenced on midnight of Sunday, 27 March 2022, has become necessary following the failure of the federal government to attend to their demands, which includes inconsistency in the IPBIS payment platform, non-payment of hazard allowance and arrears of national minimum wage, poor funding of state universities, delay in renegotiation of their 2009 agreement with the federal government, among others. While emphasizing that the 2-week strike must be total and comprehensive, they appeal to the federal government to look into their demands to end industrial action.
While commending the federal government for the implementation or the constitution of the visitation panel, they should call for renegotiation. So many items in that agreement are stale. There is need for upward review. The IPPIS platform, we have gotten our own payment platform. Let them call us to present it for integrity tests.
We are expecting them to do the needful, to call our members to the round table and give us what we want.
The Joint Action Committee also lamented that the teaching staff are usurping the offices and responsibilities of non-academic staff in the universities and appealed to the federal government to call them to order to avoid workplace crisis. In Uyo, John Paul Alumon, NTA News.
Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State has declared his intention to contest for the seat of Nigerian president in the forthcoming presidential election in 2023. He made the declaration when he met with Governor Samuel Otom, stakeholders and working committee of the Benue State branch of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Makurdi. Charles Abba reports that Governor Wike also donated 200 million naira each for victims of the recent fire outbreak in Kasinala and high-level markets.
The plane that Governor Nyesom Wike boarded to Benue State for his consultation with the PDP juggernauts for his presidential ambition touched the tarmac at the Makurdi airport at 15:30 hours Sunday.
Obvious that I'm going to run for the presidency of this country. I'm declaring for the first time in Benue State because of my special relationship with them. People are not suspected, but let it be known today. And on behalf of these people, I want to assure you that we'll work with you. We'll continue to pray until you're able to realize your dream. Because if as governor, you've been able to reach out to us and touch our lives, if you're president of this country, our sorrow will be gone.
Governor Wike, who declared that he has the capacity to turn around the security and socio-economic situation in the country when given the presidential mandate on the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), urged the electorate not to sell their votes.
Don't go and sell your vote. Give me. Because I'm the only one that can have the capacity. Give me this to do. Let me return power to PDP.
Former Cross River State Governor Donald Duke, Senator Abba Moro, and the state chairman of PDP, John Ngbede, extol the virtues of truthfulness, courage, selfless leadership, benevolence, and forthrightness of Governor Wike and assured him of their unflinching support. Benue is the first state where Governor Wike has made consultation and declared his interest to run for the presidency in 2023. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari says the show of unity displayed by APC members at the just concluded National Convention has placed the party on a firmer footing for victory in 2023 general elections. This report is here presented from our studio.
The president, who witnessed the inauguration of the elected party executives, remarked that the smooth conduct of the election raises the prospect of a mouth-watering APC victory next year. A statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, described the successful conduct of the convention as a victory over naysayers as well as voters of Nigeria who can now be assured of a smooth succession to new leadership in 2023. It says, what the convention made clear was how the media has been peddling fake news of division when the hard reality of unity, cohesion, and indeed personal warmth between members of the party and leadership was evident for all to see. Garba Shehu assures Nigerians that the stage is now set for the 2023 elections. APC offers a track record of success and leadership, while the opposition has only decades of failure and complicity. In response,
you are watching news reaching you live from the studio of Nta Calabar. You can watch this newscast on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Nta Calabar. We'll go in a break. We'll be back shortly. Don't go away. Welcome back to the rest of our news. Yam is a staple food around Ogoja local government area and the Northern Central District of Cross River State. However, for some time now, the price of yam is on the high side, even though Ogoja is known to be a major trade center for yams. Esu Edodi, who carried out market survey on the availability and affordability of yam, reports that prices of yam is increasing geometrically.
A market survey across Ogoja reveals that a set of yam, which consists of 5 tubers previously sold for between 3,000 and 3,500 naira, depending on the size, is now sold for 4,500 and above.
When you ask them, they will say price of kebika don't cost, price of this way they use the farm, it don't they cost, so the thing make price of yam to go increase. Like yam, what would they buy formally for like 3,000 now, they'll give you for 4,500, 5,000.
Yam traders confirmed the increment, noting that yam is now expensive in the area, irrespective of the fact that Ogoja is one of the largest producers of yam within and outside Cross River State.
We don't look for better money, but we don't see. Now small money that the price of it. Like this, my own man open a mail, you see. I get 30,000, not 22,000, they give me 20,000. How we go get survive for this our back?
They attributed a hike in yam price to fuel scarcity and high cost of transportation, as well as the season, as they noted old yam is gradually giving way to new yam. Esu Edodi, NTA News.
The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has refused the request for bail made by the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police DCP Abba Kyari and 6 others bail, but however promised to give the matter a accelerated hearing. The report is here presented from our studio.
Justice Wite in his ruling held that the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has successfully established why bail should not be granted to the defendants. He said, having considered the affidavit evidence supplied by parties and proof of evidence, he was convinced that the prosecution has successfully raised reasonable presumption of criminal responsibility on the part of the defendants. Justice Emeka Wite ordered that the suspended DCP and 6 others be transferred to Correctional Center for detention. The case has been adjourned to 28th of April for the review of facts in respect of the case against the 2 accused that pleaded guilty.
2 suspected drug traffickers have excreted a total of 165 wraps of cocaine following their arrest at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. Both suspects were on board Ethiopian Air Flight from Addis Ababa with total weight substance of 3.619 kilograms ingested into their body. In a later development, narcotic officers of the Directorate of Operation and General Investigation also intercepted substantial quantity of methamphetamine, cocaine, and cannabis sativa packaged for export to Australia, China, Qatar, Ireland, and Thailand through some courier companies in Lagos, a shipment of not less than 29 kilograms. Meanwhile, 2,293.324 kilograms of illicit drugs and 791,100 naira were recovered in major raids by NDLEA in Ogun, Rivers, and Enugu State the past week. Poised to alleviate poverty, thereby giving the people a new lease of life, the World's Environmental Solution is taking its empowerment program tag Project Definite to the people of Akansoko in Akwabuyo local government area. Correspondent Benny Achibon reports that presentation of traditional items for traditional rites were part of activities for the groundbreaking ceremony for the project. The reports.
The Project Definite is in line with the state government's effort to alleviate poverty and empower communities in the state as part of activities to kickstart the project. The company led a foundation at Akansoko Clan in Akwabuyo local government area of the state as a symbolic outreach to bridge unemployment, empower the community on entrepreneurship, and enhance public utilities.
It's just a compensation to the community of Akwabuyo, the municipality. Rwanda has a pipe, a gas line, pass through these different communities to UNICEF. They want supplying gas to them. So it's time to compensate them in terms of buildings, road construction, and the rest of the thing. Simple as that. So when a job actually comes or start properly, the youth will be engaged. From there, they can get busy. But I know that as the project comes in, we have changes here. Bring over center to the village center.
Indigents of the community and contractors to handle the project speak.
If everything works out well, then this project will help the youth in order to get employed and the elders.
The youth of this community should be happy that they have been chosen to benefit over this project.
My advice for the youth and the community at large is to give us an enabling environment to deliver with speed.
Now, I've always believed, but I believe those who were doubting can now see that it's real.
World Solution Project Definite is an ongoing program to impact on communities and empower the youth. In Calabar, Nta Calabar, Nta News.
The Nigerian Army says its troops under Operation Desert Sanity have covered the wreckage of what is suspected to be the crashed Nigerian Air Force Alpha jet NAF 475, which went off the radar with 2 crew members on 31st of March 2021. Breaking the news via its Twitter handle at Headquarters Nigerian Army on the 26th March 2022 with pictures showing coordinates where the wreckage was found. The Army says the troop made the discovery while on clearance operation in Sambisa Forest, Borno State. This is a developing story as the Nigerian Air Force has not yet responded to the Nigerian Army's findings, though when contacted, high-ranking NAF source said the coordinates on the pictures look genuine. And to end the news, let's take a quick look at some of the stories that make the headlines. The head of civil service of Cross River State, Timothy Akwaji, has assured protesting persons employed 4 years ago into the Cross River State civil service demanding payment of their salaries of adequate attention by the government. Consumers in Ogoja local government area have called for government intervention in transport fare to check the hike in prices of yam and other commodities in rural areas. It was also in the news that World's Environmental Solution has stepped up its empowerment program with the groundbreaking of its project in Akansoko, Akwabuyo. From me is good night.